Now imagine you making 6 knight dancing moves in the opening and still manage to win the game. Sounds very funny, yet very interesting, right? Welcome guys, as in today's lecture, you are going to witness exactly that. After e4 and knight to f6, we enter into the Alekhine defense, where by far white has chosen the move e5, and after knight to d5, what else but grabbing the space in the center with d4. Okay, black challenged the white center with d6, and accordingly white grabbed more space in the center and still attacking the knight with c4. The knight retrieved back to b6, and since black has pressure on the e-pawn, in the majority of the cases white has chosen the exchange variation, which goes as follows: pawn takes d6, c captures d6, and now knight to c3, which confirms white space advantage. Okay, now both the sides take out the minor pieces and arrange the castle. So let me go through the main line. g6, knight to f3, bishop to g7, bishop to e3, black castle on the king side, bishop to e2, knight to c6, white castle on the king side, and the final move, bishop to g4, where obvious enough, both the sides are happy at this stage. Well, here comes a small trap, guys. If your opponent continue with moves such as h3, then after bishop captures f3, white get a horrible position, as by force he has to take back with the pawn and compromise his king's safety. Because if he foolishly take with the bishop, then after knight captures c4, black wins the pawn, and in fact, if you look at the results here, they are tremendous for the black. So nope, h3 is a bad move in this position. By force, white has to play b3 in order to protect the c4 pawn. And now I recommend this nice jab in the center with d5. White has two choices, and amongst them, taking on d5 is a pretty bad idea. The simple reason is, after knight to b4, white get an isolated queen pawn, and a sample line can goes like this: h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, knight takes d5, knight takes d5, and after knight captures d5, you can understand what I mean. This pawn is a clear-cut target. And what black wants to do is, he wants to put his major artillery on the d file and then munch the d pawn. So that's why by far the most obvious choice from the white is to grab space on the queen side with c5 and attacking the knight. Okay, we are going to move our Alekhine knight 4th time with knight to c8, which at first sight looks strange. But guess what? We have reached to the critical position where, if you look at the database here, top 3 choices, h3, rook c1 and a3, all leads to our tricky platform. Let's see each by turn and find out what is the big idea from the black side. The first move I want to consider is h3, highestly played here, but a mistake, as after bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, e6 defending the pawn, and white's most obvious choice is to play a3 so that he can steamroll black on the queen side. But the matter of fact is, after knight to e7, b4, and now this nice move, knight to f5, where if you count this knight movement, we have done 6th knight roundup trip in the opening stage, but the most important part is when he lands on f5, it wins the game for us. How? Well, the answer is very simple. Right now there is a 3 attacker on the d4 pawn, so white has to defend this pawn with knight to e2. But here comes the final dazzling shot. Queen to f6. And after this, what else but white is losing the vital center pawn. Unfortunately for white, he cannot bring the 4th defender, and that means the game is completely goner. Let me show you what happened in the majority of the games. White played the move b5, black take on d4, and we have many exchanges on d4. Knight takes d4, knight takes d4, bishop takes d4, queen takes. White even exchanged the queen, where at the end, when he played rook to c1, after rook f to c8, there goes the second pawn and the game. You might think, hang on, white can push it, right? Well, of course he can do it, but the problem is after pawn takes and pawn takes, black has this lethal move, bishop to b2, which by force wins the second pawn. And even though we have the opposite color bishop on the table, these two distinct passers can easily convert the full point, as confirmed by chess engine analysis here. Well, the same story goes if white continue here with the move a3, trying to go for the same idea. Guess what? You know what to do. Yup, e6. And after b4, pay attention guys, as knight to e7 can be successfully met with b5. So first you need to stop it. And how are we going to stop it? It's an easy one, right? You play a6, stop this nuisance, and then continue with your dancing knight journey. First thing first, white cannot play a4 here. The simple reason is after knight takes b4, rook to b1 looks like white is regaining the pawn, but nope, a5, and indeed black coming out as a pawn advantage. So a4 is right out of the equation here. That means white has to prepare b5 with rook to b1, and after our knight to e7, now he can play a4 and the next move is b5. But guess what? White is one move late, as after bishop takes f3, and once our knight land on f5, what else but the same old story. Black is winning the pawn in the opening stage, and no matter however white wriggles, with the careful and accurate play, this is definitely a close to winning for the black. Last but not least, I like to also mention that you can apply the same setup against white's most popular setup. Let me show you what exactly it is. After our g6, white can go for bishop to e3, bishop to g7, rook to c1, and after castle, he can play b3, which is in fact recommended in many books and videos. Idea is very obvious. White has stopped our bishop g4 as well as d5 break and frustrate the whole black opening idea. Well, not to worry guys, as I'm going to propose a modern move here, and that is bishop to f5. And against this, if white is not careful, then he might end up into the same structure. For example, bishop to e2, d5, c5, knight to c8, and white should play bishop to f3, which goes into the different theoretical channel. However, if you look at the database here, by far knight to f3 has been played exclusively. But after this, you know what to do. Yup, we directly transpose to our last line with knight to c6. Well, h3 is too late here because after bishop to e4, we are anyways going to take the knight, as white can't take this bishop in the view of the d4 pawn hangs at the end. So that is the reason why instead of h3, white has castle. But now comes the whole point. We are going to move the bishop one more time. Surprisingly, it looks like a waste of tempo, but white's move rook to c1 is either not a good choice. So for example, h3, bishop takes f3, bishop takes f3, e6, a3, knight to e7, b4 and knight to f5. Yup, the same old story, knight e2, queen f6, winning the important pawn and the game. All thanks to this wonderful dancing Alekhine knight. That's it guys. I hope you enjoy and learn this wonderful knight dancing trick from the black. Remember, once this knight reaches on f5, it doesn't matter however white wriggles. The very important d pawn disappear from the board, and with that goes the hope for the white. Well, thank you for watching this video. Feel free to like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you in my next episode very soon. Bye and take care.